Oh, what's good? Today, I'm talking about fantasy football quarterbacks. And I know you hear my voice, but you don't see my face. That's because I have shoulder inflammation and I'm wrapped up in ice and I look like the Big Show. But nonetheless, I am here. I'm okay. I'm alright. Just in case you're asking. Anyway, let's get to the point of this video. But before you do that, you gotta subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, this guy is going to jump through your window. And you don't want that to happen. Alright, cue the intro. Threat quarterbacks can get you yards in so many ways. As a rusher, rushing touchdowns, and they're still a quarterback. Quarterback completions, quarterback yards, and quarterback touchdowns. All that from one position. Go ahead, get you a dual threat quarterback, specifically a guy that can scramble out of the pocket and get you some yards as a rusher as well. You see the background. You see the top 10 quarterbacks. All of them will be rushing. All of them will be giving you some sort of rushing touchdowns. At least 9 out of the 10. No disrespect, Brady, but Brady's not going to be rushing for you. He's not going to be a Michael Vick, all right? But dual threat quarterbacks, it's the way. Listen, I'm telling you. If you're not really feeling dual threat quarterbacks, you can just target guys in great offenses. And that'll get you some points too, knowing that their weapons is going to go off. So number 2 is pretty much simple. Go after quarterbacks in really good offenses. Plenty of examples to go around in this league. Plenty of examples to go around. Especially guys with that favorite list that we keep playing throughout this whole video. Because it's to show you what we're talking about. Alright? So go after sleeper quarterbacks. You got a guy in Ryan Tannehill who had this guy on offense. But then he added a guy just like this, Julio. So he's going to be all right. Along with A.J. Brown. All he got to do is figure out where the hell that pin is. And he'll be all right. And then you got Joe Burrow, who has really good receiver weapons. Has a pretty cool running back. He also gives you dual threat ability. And he also gives you swag. That's just extra points. But it doesn't count in fantasy. Regardless of the fact, get you a quarterback, one of the sleepers, to avoid you having to reach and messing up your whole draft, your whole depth. And speaking of that, let's go to point number 4. All type of quarterbacks that you could go after. I've mentioned them already, and I'm going to mention more in this next point. You don't want to go and get Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd round, the 2nd round, or the bottom of the 1st, because that's going to screw your team. If one of those guys get COVID, one of those guys get injured for the season, that's your whole team within 2 picks. Because you wanted to get them before anybody else. You don't have to do that. Draft for depth. Draft for deep. Draft for other points. Do not go and get Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes within the first 2 picks, first 3 picks. 4th round maybe, but even that's a little bit too high for me. You can do what you want. And I'm not saying it's set in stone. But as for me, and what I think you should do, draft your quarterback a little bit later. And that's it. Five, basically saying that they're matchup dependent, meaning like you can pick them up when your quarterback is hurt or when they have a really good matchup. Some guys might go off and get you like 30 something points 1 week because of their matchup being matched up against a bad defense. And you can just stream them. Say your quarterback is hurt. Say your quarterback is having a down year. You can pick up one of these guys and stream them. And you'll be okay for 1 week, for a couple of weeks. It's no telling. But some quarterbacks like these that we're looking at are solely for streaming. They're matchup dependent. So you got all kind of quarterbacks, all kind of ways that you can target your quarterbacks. I'm not telling you who not to get. I'm telling you where to go and where the value is. I'm also telling what to look for in your quarterback. So again, I'm not saying don't get certain players, don't do this, don't do that. Because you have your own choices and you can do exactly what you want. Some guys can end up being great. Some guys can end up being terribly bad. I can end up being wrong. You never know. But I'm just telling you what I use, some things I use as far as quarterbacks and what I've been using for the last 8 years. I've been in the playoffs the last 8 years. I've been top 4, 6 out of those 8 years. So I know a little bit. So go with what you know. Go with what makes things flow. But you also can consider what I'm saying as well, too. So with all that being said, a little quick video about quarterbacks. Another one's going to be coming up soon. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. Take care. Whatever you do, do it well. All right? Have a good one. I'm out.